Please adjust the slider until the computer is barely visible. Yep. Please adjust the slider until the dog and the cat are friends. Please adjust the slider until the number 5 becomes the number 9. Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider. Which of the two made-up words below is most appealing to you? Occuboinkle or Scrumtush? Scrumtush. Occuboinkle. Please don't adjust the slider. Do you know what time it is right now? Yes. Is the time that it is right now the correct time? Yes. What is time anyway? No. Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? Yes. Help. Yes. Will you come back to visit me? Yes. Wow, okay, that's starting to get a bit existential there. Oh yeah, I forgot this is the Stanley Parable 2 now. I keep forgetting about that. Okay. G'day guys, my name's 3Jad21 and welcome back to the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, or as you can see from the title screen, the Stanley Parable 2. It has been a hot minute since I last played this, which has been agony, personally, because I'm absolutely in love with this game. Like, I knew that the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe was going to be great, but I didn't think it was going to be as good as it has been so far, and I'm nowhere near done. I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that there's 42 endings in this game, and to put that into comparison, to compare that to the original was, I think it had 19 endings, so there's more than double the endings in this game, which are mostly bucket related, but before we do those endings, I gotta go and do the endings from the original game that I have not done yet. There are 2 that I can think of off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there's other ones I haven't done yet. So, yeah. Skip the intro. Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
There's the bucket, but we aren't going to pick it up because I need to... Yeah, right, so this door is gone. I was trying to think in my head, like, is that door gone forever now, or is it still there? But, yeah.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Now, there's an ending this way
This was not the correct
that I
way to the
haven't
meeting
gotten
room,
yet,
and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
besides the one
Perhaps
that's
he needed
bugged,
to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
because there's that bug ending,
Yes,
bugged
truly
ending,
a room worth admiring, but eager to get back to business.
where if you
Stanley
unplug
took
the phone,
first open
it's
door
supposed to
on his
start
left.
playing a video, but it doesn't play the video. I could always try it again, but
Stanley was so
I don't
bad
really
at
feel
following
like it.
directions. It's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
alright.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can
Whoa.
be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing.
There's a Stanley
but you
collectible over
all
there.
this time.
I need to get
There's
that.
someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you
I
have
always
zero
love,
consideration
like, I
for
will never
others?
get over
Are you
this
that convinced that I want
dialogue.
something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Figly, definitely.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Now, as we all know from the last time I got here, I walked through the blue door. But I never walked through the red door, so let's walk through the red door.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Wait, am I tripping, or have we actually done this ending before? I think I've played this game. I last played this game so long ago that I think we have actually done this ending.
What do we want?
Yeah, we have done this ending before. My apologies.
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful.
My apologies, everybody. I forgot that we did this ending before. But hey. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. Forgot. Oh well. Just goes to show you that I'm not faking this playthrough, huh? Now we'll do the ending that I know I haven't done yet.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The ending that I am absolutely positive I haven't done yet.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So if we go to this meeting room, we should see that we only have one more collectible to get, or maybe 2. A large room, lots of boxes is the one that I could have gone and gotten just then, but I forgot, or like I didn't actually see where to do. Something to do with stairs. Now, oh man, maybe I should have kept playing through that, because maybe the thing with the stairs is that they're actually with that ending that I just went away from.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Anything new in here? Nope. I don't know why I thought there'd be something new in there.
Discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Oh man, I was hoping the new music would be different this time. It's still good music, but I mean, you know.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Okay.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nah, I'm escaping.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
That's a bit rough.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
I don't think Stanley cares, to be honest.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Indeed. Ow! That would be so bad for the ankles.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man.
That's a bit
So he
rough.
resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
That's gonna be me. What?
Farewell, Stanley,
Oh.
cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Huh. Except I'm not exactly dead yet. Not yet, anyway.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
I'm not sure.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
That bit you said about like how life becomes meaningless reminded me a lot of Undertale, where there's the whole thing with Flowey, where like because Flowey can just restart the game and just restart everything, literally. He basically just did the most fucked up shit he possibly could because he knew he could just reset if he didn't like the outcome. And like, I can't imagine what that kind of power would do to a person in real life. Like, that would be so messed up. This blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development, though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. So yeah, the reason I kept avoiding this ending is because it's heavy spoilers for stuff that we could see in the game. That's why I tried to do as much of this game's normal endings as I could before I got to this part, because as we go through this museum-like structure, we're going to find behind-the-scenes stuff about different endings. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors in a good time. And that's true. You do get there in good time. Office computers. Hey, it's Solitaire. What's this one say? Installing Chart Pro Z.01 program files, Chart Pro PTP DLL 62%. Employee database. Oh god, I can't read that. So credits. We got written and designed by Davey Redden and William Pugh, developed by the Crows. Art direction, audio direction, development lead, and the impeccable Kevin Brighting as the narrator. There's also some additional credits. It's 22nd Century Toys. That's interesting. So these guys did the console ports, I'm assuming. And if over here we have the music and all the like audio stuff, basically. The character models and the artwork. And what's this one about? Based on the work of the Stanley Parable 2013 team. Yeah, that's right. There weren't that many people on the original game, were there? It was a very small team. And I mean, this is still a fairly small team working on Ultra Deluxe, but it's really cool how a game this great is so made by such a small team. Maintenance room, as an early version of the maintenance room. Yeah, you can tell because it's still like basic textures, but they've got the elevator shaft and everything. Oh my goodness, it's the copy machine! Alright, there's the employee lounge. It looks like the monitor room from above. Fun. What are the computers? Cash? Hell yeah. What's in here? Warzone. Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realised shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. And this bike, it doesn't actually have anything to do with the Warzone ending. This bike actually has to do with a specific trailer that was released for the Stanley Parable. I can't remember if it was post-release, or before the release, and it was like an alpha tester. But there was a I'm pretty sure this is a true story. I don't think it was just made up for the trailer. But there was a person called Raphael who wrote a review for the game, basically saying like what they don't like about the game, and so they made a trailer for the game, basically saying like, oh well, here's the criticisms he made. This is how we're going to make the Stanley Parable now. And then obviously, it's just a joke. It's all one big joke, and it's funny. The lounge. Oh wow, the lounge in that one's even more boring than the actual lounge. It's crazy. Oh. A question brought forth by the intense passion of my soul. Am I Stanley? Are you spying on me? I don't. Why? How? Narrator emails. After the second trailer we asked people to email the narrator for questions, which we had initially planned to use. While we had initially planned to use these further promotional materials, we never found the perfect use for them. Here are a selection of those emails. From Pixel Sith. Dear narrator, how do you stay in shape? Michael the Rock Martin. I wonder if the email... Hang on. Oh, from Dink Dunk. Gay. Are you gay? What? Oh my god. There was an email before that one. Regarding your game in the works. I appreciate the previous Stanley game as a work of art and a standalone title. I appreciate the credit given to art, which is why I'm eager to see a sequel because I need a good censoring. I would like to, however, have... Oh, damn it. It's too long. Have infinite quests. How many endings? If the Stanley Parable is really going to let me go shopping, I hope it will have a fine selection of desert boots. What? How do you make a JRPG? How do you make the worst game ever? What is the difference between a duck? Oh my god. I'm not going to read every single one of those, but that's pretty good. Oh, yeah, it's a stairway. Wait. The second version is functionally... Wait. What am I missing? The cargo lift. The cargo lift was always intended to offer the choice of staying on or jumping to a different path. However, after this early version, we decided we also wanted the option of the player falling to their death, which is what I did before. Oh. The apartment timer. In a previous version of the choice leading to the apartment ending, a time would give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. And then they made it so that you actually unplug the phone. But as we all know, I unplugged the phone and the ending's bugged, so I can't do anything about it. The second version is functionally the same as what's in the final game, but we wanted to look more like a place where cargo is actually stored. Yeah, no kidding. That looks more like a portal room. Which makes sense, because this game started off as a mod for Portal, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it was Half-Life. Number one option. One doorway to maintenance in the lounge. So that's the one they eventually went with. Obey, disobey, first choice. Yeah. This one... Wait, two options. You can either disobey and go through maintenance early. One doorway to maintenance in the lounge and the original back on track option. What about this? A vent from lounge that leads to maintenance. Oh man, that's weird. Wow. Just goes to show you how much thought goes into these games. Well, what's this a diagram of? Something that doesn't look familiar. This screenshot depicts an early version of the ending known as the Zending, which was eventually cut and merged with another part of the game. The Zending. These levers were originally a part of the Zending. The player would pull a lever and the narrator would describe what color they had pulled. Oh, would you look at this? For a long time, we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Unfortunately, very few players realized this was what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everyone. This coloring is very similar to this. Notice that? So what's this about? This ending went through many iterations. This room represents the fourth version of the ending, and we thought it was complete, but decided to abandon and change it again shortly before launch. Interesting. I don't actually know what the Zending thing is, like, what it eventually became. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down, with freedom above and countdown below. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down, and placed the two endings together instead. Right. Hang on. Pull it up again. 42. Yo, blue and yellow. They're supporting Ukraine. This is the freedom ending as it existed in beta. Man, that is not as cool as it ended up being. Monitor room elevator. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down, with freedom above and countdown below. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down. Right. Yes, now I get what they're trying to say. That's the early countdown room. Damn. That is... Yep, that's the exit. What's this? Game design mock-up. This is the level that William, the level designer, sent Davey, the writer, as a kind of audition piece. The strength of this level got William hired to design the full game. Though much of the environment has changed, the basic layout from this mock-up is still in the game. Yeah, actually it is, because this is... there's the copy machine. There's a computer desk that you hop on to jump out the window. And then there's... Just to the right of here would be where the... where Stanley's office would be. That's cool. What's over this way? Stanley's office. From left to right, the evolution of Stanley's office over time. The first was created in November 2011, the second in March 2012, and the third in February 2013. That's pretty basic. And then they pushed it to the left more. And then there's this one, which looks like, yeah, this is the final version, isn't it? Pretty sure it is, anyway. Okay, what else am I missing? Like, there's definitely some other stuff I need to look at. Was there something over here? No, okay. So, I think there's another way we can go. That was from where we started. Which would be that way. Yeah. And once we've checked out the stuff that's over here, I think we're done checking out this ending. We can go to the exit. The office clock. Interesting. Ah, the boss's office. Scenes from the development of the boss's office. So that would have been the first design. Well, actually, no, that was probably the first design. Second design, third design. That's what they ended up going with. It's a nice looking office, isn't it? It's imposing, but it's also looks nice and elegant too. The lounge. Underground. An early version of the underground portion of the game. The escape ending and the mind control facility. Interesting. Oh, a light bulb. Narration outtakes. Kevin Briding, the voice of the narrator.
This elevator for sure will get him right back on track to where he was supposed to be in the story.
The voice of the narrator recorded dialogue for the entire game roughly 3 separate times over the 2 years of development. These are clips from early takes that were not used in the final game. Play another one.
He pushed the number
9. Interesting.
Stanley pushed the number 6. Stanley stood on the roof.
Stood on the roof? Damn. I want to stay on the roof. Okay, what's up this way? Ah, this was the very first incarnation of the freedom ending in the game's alpha. Oh, we're back here now. Okay. Right, so I'm pretty sure we've seen everything now. And conveniently, the exit is right over here. So let's exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Ooh, controller's shaking.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail.
Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game.
Wait, turn off my PlayStation?
Forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you.
Oh, I'm very...
Don't let...
Ow! Yeah, I decided to just let it go. I'm surprised she said PlayStation, though. I'm not turning off my PlayStation. What are you talking about? Yep, there's an ending. Otherwise, you could just restart it before you die. But yeah, the game restarts anyway. Okay, there's still there's an ending I'm missing. I just can't. I'm trying to remember which one it was. Like, how do you get to it? Because it's either the ending that
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
as I was saying, I'm pretty sure the only ending I'm missing that I can think of is the ending that is bugged. I can try to do it again. I will try to do it again. But it didn't work. It's the one where you unplugged the phone. I'm pretty sure the ending where you unplugged the phone.
Years ago.
Oh, this is how you do it. That's ingenious.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anmarines.
Oh my God.
You'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anmarines. None of us can.
I wish you didn't start calling them Figler and Lorraines. Wait a minute. Wait. No, is this another ending? Or is this just going to transport me back to where I was? Oh my god, a new ending. Holy
Stanley
shit.
had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path.
What?
You didn't
No.
think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite
okay,
explanation
good.
that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
What did I do? What? That was weird. I thought there'd be more to that. But I guess... Is that an ending? I don't know. Okay, sure.
All of his co-workers were
Well, that's
gone.
interesting.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So, now I'm going to go and try and do the thing that I was doing before that happened.
When Stanley came to a set of two open...
Well, if there's any good thing that comes from having to restart the game, it's that I can... Hang on. I can do more of this stuff. What time is it? Does anyone really truly know? Of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. You and I don't even know each other. We're like strangers. Sure, I've adjusted all of the game's settings to your exact specifications, but who hasn't? It's just what I do, like a day job. And now the job is over. There's no information for me to gather. I've collected all the data on you that I can. And I still don't really know you. And you don't know me. And neither of us know what time it is. I guess some settings are just unsettable. But if I'm being totally honest, the clock doesn't do anything in the game anyway. You won't have me here when the game starts next time, but that's okay. Video games are meant to be played alone. You like being alone, don't you? That's maybe the only information I really learned about you. Well, it's time for me to leave. There is still one more setting that we need to adjust, but it may take a little time before I'm ready for that. It's not really my job description, but that's okay. Perhaps you'll see me again, if you can find me. Talk soon. That's ominous. Don't know how I feel about that. That's, yeah. Now we're back with the Stanley Parable 2. Should I start calling this the Stanley Parable 2 or keep calling it Ultra Deluxe? I think I should keep calling it Ultra Deluxe and on the thumbnails and titles, because I don't want people to be like, oh wait, it's Stanley Parable 2, because like to me that's kind of a spoiler, you know? Like I want people to think this is just Ultra Deluxe, not Stanley Parable 2. You know what I mean?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to pause for a bit, and I'm going to find... I'm going to look up all the endings from the original Stanley Parable and see if there is anything that I can do that I've missed. So, I will be back. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Technically, there is an ending to the broom closet segment, but it's not really an ending. It's more of a, it's less of an ending and more of a gag. Wait, what's this? Upon... Oh, there you go. Apparently the ending where you the ending where you hold a press conference for yourself was actually in the original game. That's interesting. I didn't think it would be. Because I don't remember that ever happening. But I guess it was in the original game. There you go. Now, apparently there's a thing I can do in the monitor room that does a new ending. Oh, okay. It's actually... Okay. Cool. I found a new ending to do, guys. This is actually really cool. Hang on, I gotta reset my timer. Sorry, guys. Please forgive me. There we go. Okay. So there's a new ending that we can get.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his
that involves a glitch in the monitor room, which I will now do. I never would have found out about this ending if I hadn't looked it up, so I feel
into his manager's office. Stanley was once again stunned to discover
feel okay
not an
with doing
indication
this.
of any
There's apparently something we can do here. I don't know if I need to press the button or not to do it, but I think... Yeah, there we go.
Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So, here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content?
Yes.
Always more content, more, more. And I'm here to give it to you.
Thank you.
I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game, with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section.
Really?
You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are.
Well, thank you.
We call this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Good job, you did it. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams.
Chase you dreams.
Railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it. 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 Good job, you did it.
Oh my god.
Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it.
How long is this song? Oh, that's it. Hey, that was fun. Wow. So that was there you go. Just as the narrator said. Apparently that was a bug in the original game and they made an ending out of it. Clever. So now I have to go back to that page I was on about endings and see what else I've missed. So we've gotten the confusion ending. Okay, I'm back. So basically all the endings that I haven't done are endings that are either extremely hard to get and are basically joke endings, or they're the endings that are now the new ones.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
So now I am going to do the bucket endings, which are all the new endings we haven't touched yet.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
And now I feel confident working backwards from the good ending, because we've already done the bucket ending with the good ending. So let's see what happens if we now do the escape ending, but with the bucket in hand. This should be interesting to see. So where's this final stairs? Something to do with stairs. Okay. It's okay. I'm trying to think. Is there anything new with the broom closet?
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet.
Oh, right,
simply
yeah.
Because I
Sorry.
have no remaining stickers. If
Sorry.
I did, you can guarantee we'd be coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay. Sure thing.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of
wrong
any
thing.
human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the suit. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Indeed, I completely agree with you, Kevin. It has to be. The bucket knows everything. It's an all-knowing bucket. It's not just a reassurance bucket. It's a breaking the fourth wall bucket. It knows everything. It knows who you are. It knows who you are, Kevin. I think you need to know that.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Yes. Which is why I'm going to take this bucket with me to the escape
Stanley
ending.
and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Here we go, more new content.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
I
At
don't
this
think
point,
so.
Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be too painful for the bucket. He's too OP to feel the pain. At least, I don't think so. Wait, don't tell me there's an ending that you can get by glitching to the bottom with the bucket in hand. Nah, probably not. Not this again. We just did this ending. Whoa, the narrator isn't talking? That's already different.
As the machine whirred
Oh, here we
into
go.
motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere.
Hey!
Farewell, Stanley.
That's rude.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
She didn't... That's interesting. She didn't say Stanley. She just said the bucket. So what's going to be different here? Anything?
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was
No
a
way.
glorious bucket to behold.
Oh my god. The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within, a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? Let's find out.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
I think you're misinterpreting my relationship with the bucket. I'm pretty sure me and the bucket had a companionship, not I'm taking the bucket with me. A photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this many buckets at once. Somehow I feel like that's more than 25 buckets, but go off, I guess. What's this bucket? Inferno bucket, a replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains, no one can control a bucket. I don't think billions would have died in a war in the medieval era. Oh my god. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. That's amazing. Let's see what's in the other direction. What happens if I can't take it? Okay. The stress bucket, an analogy. Worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, lack of reassurance. Stress equals the level of water in the bucket. Vulnerability equals size and strength of the bucket. Coping strategies equals the holes. Rest and relaxation, doing something you enjoy, rest and relaxation. Presented without commentary. Okay, fair enough. Now we need to go past the spooky chanting. Well, it's not that spooky. We're gonna go past the chanting and into the next room.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
What if they want to be my friend? This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance inevitably is for our own good. Oh?
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Restart the game.
Let Stanley die.
Wait,
Let him
what?
be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game.
Oh.
Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler.
I'm actually beginning the game again. I'm scared that if I do that ending, it's going to prevent me from getting the bucket again, which is why I'm restarting. I might be overreacting here, but this is the Stanley Parable we're talking about. So I'm just going to play it safe and not... Like, you know, I want to play it safe. I don't want to lose the bucket yet.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Alright, the next ending would be the one where we go up and down the elevator, right? That's the next ending we can do with the bucket? Wait, no, hang on. The next ending isn't the elevator one, it's actually the ending where we turn on the security system. Not the security system, sorry. We try to turn on the mind controls again. We haven't done that yet. So, I actually didn't do them in order, or the order that I wanted to do them in. So, let's try to this time. We don't have to listen to the narrator do that little spiel again.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Okay. Sure thing, boss. Kevin.
Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls.
Wait, the bucket
Stanley
did?
gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this?
No, the bucket
Stanley
can
was
betray
prepared
me!
to throw the bucket away in disgust, when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds.
Oh my
the control
god.
buttons became active again.
What? Oh my god.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world.
Penguins!
The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands.
Oh my
the
god,
one
look at
who had
him.
pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best.
Yes.
And Stanley was happy.
Aww. Yay, that was actually a nice ending. Okay, now we can do the elevator ending with the bucket. This should be fun. Alright. Here we are. Time to go up the elevator.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
No, don't tell me this is going to be an ending where the bucket starts hating me. Aw, that'd be really sad. I'd hate that. Okay. So we're going to go and press the number 3.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over. Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
Okay.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
But we're gonna go back up again because Stanley isn't done. He wants to push more buttons. Because after all, that's his job. It's what he enjoys doing. Of course he wants to go and push buttons. It just makes sense.
No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the sense that the bucket doesn't like me very much anymore. It's not saying anything. Oh, it just sounds like it feels resentment towards me now. That's all.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
Man.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket.
The elevator ride has changed.
With his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
Why is the actual thing around the elevator different now? The walls were different. You guys saw that, right? Or maybe it's always been like that? I can't remember.
Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him.
Was that a person?
And why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work. For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life.
I really hope this bucket appreciates what I've been working towards. To stage 3.
This was it. One last chance to win the bucket.
3 again, 3 again.
One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one.
3 stars.
There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting. He was a failure. And in that moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
That was really sad. I hated that. That was a terrible ending. Man. Can you, in all honesty though, imagine setting up a press conference like that, and you step out and there's no one. Can you imagine how dejected you would feel? It would feel awful.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
I wonder if there's an ending you could get by picking up the bucket and then doing the final input and going to heaven with the bucket.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, so now we got to go down the stairs, right? Oh no, we can do the escape pod ending now. So yes, this escape pod ending. We shall do that. So, we are going to do it.
Stepping...
Alright. I'm interested to see what happens here. Yep, there it is. The escape pod door. Because when we do the escape pod ending, the narrator gets stuck in that room. And that's why you never hear him in the escape pod ending. So does anything different? Surely something different happens here. I mean, we're holding the bucket. Something has to change, right? It's not making just be the same thing. There it is. Oh my god. Oh my god. We let the bucket escape. That's awesome. Man, these endings are always like a roller coaster of happy or sad. It's nuts. Okay.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
No, I fucked up. No! What was I thinking? Oh no, is there really no way to get the bucket back? No. Damn it! This sucks. I didn't think that would get rid of it permanently. I thought there would just be an ending. There's no warning.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in?
Wait.
How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken.
Replacement bucket?
And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
You don't need to berate me, God. Jeez.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his leg.
I almost had a freaking heart attack. No, I'm kidding. But like, seriously, that was... I did, like, stop and go, oh no, did I seriously just mess that up? So now we just gotta go down the stairs, right? And do the insanity ending, I think it's called.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
That's the final
And
one!
there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Well, I was playing the game normally. Fire hose? I don't remember that being there last time.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort.
Uh-oh.
And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come
Whoa,
from this.
the
Who
bucket's
knows
gone.
what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his.
Oh my
None of them
God.
were his
No.
special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful.
What?
Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Excuse me?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Uh-oh. Mariella, what did you see?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work.
Oh my God.
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Marietta thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way.
She backflipped to work. Oh, this fucking game, man. It's just too good. Alright, I think we have time for like one more ending and then I'll call it for this episode and then we'll start doing like... In fact, I might only have one more left side ending to do. Wait. Okay, that was weird. That reminds me, I need to put another input in at some point, don't I? What?
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone?
We're going back to the memory zone!
More than to revisit the figurines.
Of course.
One more time.
Yay! I can't believe we get to come back! Now I remember when Stanley found the collectibles. I did not think we'd be going back here. That's awesome. Wait, that's a door? Zone, sweet zone. Huh. Oh. It's gone. Interesting. There used to be a thing here. Wait, what? Oh, this is a phone.
Here's where it all began.
Yep.
The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find.
Yeah.
Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
What? Wait a minute. Oh, this way. Whoa, this is getting weird. I'm going back and collecting all of them again.
And here was a second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the boss's bathroom. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
8 out of 6.
Okay,
Boss's office
let's
and
do a
red
little
blue doors.
quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
Sheesh. I'm pretty sure it was the boss's office, because I got the second one by going into the executive bathroom, so I would have found the third one through the boss's office.
Hey! That's exactly right. It was here, behind the boss's office. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
Okay, interesting.
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room.
What?
Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
What? What is going on? Now I'm getting a little concerned. The pink room.
This was the 5th mini-stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Is this one actually gonna play? Oh, it is actually playing! How you found it by the narrator. What's that back there? It's like those it's like those really, really bad 2007 videos. Oh my god, it's so good. Oh my god. You found it near the cargo lift. Thanks for watching. Directed by the narrator.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
I'm really happy that that's the case, narrator, because that was a great video. I loved it. What is that noise? What? Okay, there's the last
And
one.
then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here, under the stairs. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figly and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
What are these markings? You are in the present.
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up
The
to present
fern!
moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
That TV was really trippy. Because it was a reflect... Whoa.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't
Whoa.
there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines?
Oh my
Let's just go
god.
backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Sure, I'm not opposed to it. Let's do it.
Okay, yes, that spot under the stairs. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
I want more too, to be honest. So let's keep going. Can you please play the video again?
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Yes! I love that video. Oh, that's great. And now there's the pink room. Can you please elaborate on what the pink room is?
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good
Me
room,
either.
though. A solid room.
It is a solid room. Just a bit off, though.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Yeah, I agree. This is much more satisfying than getting a reward. Wait. What happens if I go this way? Ah, it's blocked off. Damn. Because the one that was the pink room was the one that was actually the red blue
This is our
door.
second Figly. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Oh, we're back here again. Wait, what? Wait a minute. Wait. Oh, this is getting weird. We just...
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on.
Yeah.
I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
keep going back then.
Oh, yes,
the two
double
doors.
Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to pause stop the episode here because I'm getting a little tight on time. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy. I am really excited to see where this is going because this is really, really cool. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!